Hey everybody, thank you for Elwood. Patreon. If you haven't, please go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. You can really help this show out. We're growing and incrementally, boop, 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 need some business. Also, I've got tour dates. Tuesday, October 10th, I'll be at the Punchline in San Francisco. Wednesday, October 11th, I'll be at Helium in St. Louis. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'll be at the Zanies in St. Charles, Illinois. Links are below to go to my website, grahamelwood.com. Everything's in the show notes, guys. So please come out to these live shows. It'll be great to meet you guys. I'll be doing stand-up comedy, some political material in there, and some just good old-fashioned nightclub jokery. Not a real word. So there was an article in Newsweek that came out on October 2nd. It was written by John Walter. White men have committed more mass shootings than any other group. This obviously is in reference to the horrible shooting that took place in Las Vegas, and it's something that this country really needs to address. And this article doesn't really go into mental illness or easy access to guns. It's insane to me that when I hear people talk about this shooting, that they say stuff like, wow, we need more sniper teams up there. Like that's what the news is saying. As long as we get more sniper teams up, then we could have prevented this. Literally on my Facebook feed, people were like, well, if people in the hotel had guns, they could have stopped them, No one's saying get rid of the guns, and everyone's like, oh, it's too hard to do. No, it's not. Australia did it 20 years ago. They had a mass shooting, and they got rid of hundreds of thousands of guns. And what happened? This is going to sound crazy. Mass shootings, violent death, suicides, all gun-related deaths. The number went way, way down because people didn't have easy access to guns. If this guy couldn't get these guns easily, this wouldn't have happened. He couldn't have done this much damage. Oh, sure, he could have gotten in a car, but they had barricades, and there's no way he could have killed 50-some people. So the other thing I want to talk about before I get into these statistics is imagine if you were at an outdoor concert, a drone hit the concert and killed 50-some people and put another 500 people in the hospital, right? And that drone was sent by a country. And let's say the country then after that attack says, actually, our numbers say that it was a lot less. It was only 25. And inside that 25 people that we killed were some serious criminals and terrorists. So if you were at that concert, if that guy was down there shooting on behalf of a government, killing terrorists or serious criminals that were at that concert, and he happened to have some collateral damage, would you be okay with that? Because that's what we do every day with our drone strikes, and we've been doing it for years. So I want you to think about that, where America stands in the world. This is just one guy that was doing an act of, by the way, act of terror, there's two definitions for it. One of it is you're doing it on behalf of a group or an organization. The other one is just creating terror. That is what a terrorist does. That man created terror, therefore he's a terrorist. And I said, let's call him a white Christian terrorist, and a bunch of people on my Facebook, whoa, there's no evidence he was a Christian. Are you trying to tell me a white guy that lived in Mesquite, Nevada would say he wasn't a Christian? Okay, maybe he's not. Maybe there's evidence to say otherwise. But they never refer to Muslims as lone wolves. And maybe this guy suffered from mental illness. That's also, so no Muslims suffer from mental illness either. So statistics show that since 1982, the majority of mass shootings, 54%, were committed by white men, according to data from Mother Jones. Black people were the second largest perpetrators of mass shootings based on ethnic background, but they only accounted for roughly 16% of the total incidents during the same time period. The average age of the shooters was 35, however, making the perpetrator in Las Vegas, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock, somewhat of an outlier. It is too early to say if mental illness played a role in Paddock's case, but it has in a number of mass shootings, though it is perhaps too frequently pointed to as the primary cause. Other research suggests white men commit mass shootings out of a sense of entitlement. This is interesting. James Holmes, for example, he was the guy that shot up the movie theater in Aurora, Colorado, had failed out of his PhD program when he opened fire. Dylan Roof was unemployed when he gunned down 9 people at the end of prayer service in Charlestown, South Carolina. There's a feeling of entitlement white men have that black men don't, criminologist James Allen Fox told the Washington Post in 2012. They often complain that their job was taken by blacks or Mexicans or Jews. They feel that a well-paid job is their birthright. It's a blow to their psyche when they lose that. If you're a member of a group that hasn't historically experienced unemployment, there's a far greater stigma of losing a job than those who have. Well, there might be some truth to that. But this article goes into, and I tend to agree with it, that there's many pieces to this puzzle. You can't just say, oh, he was a white guy. My point in saying, let's call him a white Christian terrorist, is because if this would have been a Muslim man doing this, it would be all about Islam and Muslims and all jihadists, and we got to get them. If a black man would have done this, oh, blacks are violent and black on black crime, but this is just a lone gunman. And I'm saying it's wrong and it's racist and it's a form of white privilege. So, but let's go into the kind of other point. There are other pieces of the puzzle if you put them on a jigsaw board, and you're still going to have a big hole there. What I do know is that violent behavior, whether it's serious violence or minor violence in populations, is never just one thing. It's not a one-thing problem. It's going to be an accumulation of things, kind of a whole cocktail of factors. Jeffrey Swanson, professor of psychiatry and behavioral sciences at Duke University, told CNN after the Charleston shooting. The high number of white men committing mass shootings is also explained, at least in part, by the fact that white people make up a majority of the population, 63%. And men are more likely to commit violent crime in general. In the U.S., 98% of mass shootings and 90% of all murders are committed by men. Pretty sobering stats, and it's something everybody needs to think about. And we need gun control more than ever. Get these guns off the streets, do a buyback program, do what they did in Australia. It worked there. It reduced violent crime. And I remember I posted that a couple years ago. Someone was like, oh, someone went into a police station with a gun. Yeah, one guy went into a police station, started shooting, they shot him. One guy. It doesn't happen every day. They don't have 20,000, 30,000 gun deaths a year. They don't have crazy mass shootings like this. If you get all the guns off the streets, could someone still get a gun illegally? Yeah, but it's going to happen a lot less frequently. It's just that simple. A guy wears a shoe with a bomb in it, and all of a sudden we all got to take our shoes off. It happened like that. Someone figures out you could make a bomb out of toothpaste, so now we all, boom, like that. You can't bring more than 3 ounces of gels or liquids on a plane. Okay? It went like that. America fixed those laws like that, so they could do this. And all these people that go out and you're not taking my guns. Yeah, we are. We're going to pay you for it. That did a buyback. You'll get your money back. You'll get paid. You'll feel safer in the long run. Your children will be safer. Only the criminals will have guns. Criminals get guns because people buy them legally and then sell them illegally on the street. That's how criminals get guns. So the fewer guns on the street legally, the fewer guns will be sold illegally. That's very simple. Thanks for watching the show.